And welcome to the B-side, where we discuss Bond shit that isn't the movies.
Yeah.
Yes,
Classing it up.
that's right. And today's topic is the henchmen from the Connery movies. So we are going to rank the Connery henchmen 1 through 6. We're going to go 6 to 1, actually, to be honest. 4 of the 5 of us are here today. Justin is out sick. Seems to be a common theme with the B-sides. But hey, Justin, he'll get better and he'll show up here. And I'd say we get started. Gentlemen, well, actually, before we get started, I'm going to tell us who the henchman options are. With our first Bond film, Dr. No, we have Professor Dent. And with From Russia with Love, we have Red Grant. From Goldfinger, we have Odd Job. From Thunderball, we have Fiona Volpe. From You Only Live Twice, we have Hans. And from Diamonds Are Forever, we have Wint and Kid, the combo. So there are two. We're using them as a combo. You don't ever see one without the other, so I think it's only fair to use them as the combo.
They were madly in love.
And yes, they were a couple.
It is a dynamic duo.
I mean, look at Pinky and the Brain. You can't split those two guys up.
That's true. That's true. All right. So now, gentlemen, what do we think about number 6? I know who I think.
I'm torn between two, between like it, because if we're talking about like, if we're gonna critique them either on like effectiveness and what they actually did in the movies, I hate to say it, but I feel like I'm gonna go with Hans.
I think Hans is a clear choice, personally, because we never actually see him accomplish a single thing. Like, he's there, he looks the part.
He's intimidating.
Yeah, he's intimidating. He looks the part, but we only see him in one fight, which he loses and dies. And other than that, he doesn't really do anything. And it's a cool fight scene. It's not a bad fight, but other than that, it's okay. Bond kills you.
There's a word for a guy like Hans. He's a jobber.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
It was like, exactly. So.
I love these random wrestling tidbits thrown in these episodes.
Yeah. I can't disagree.
Yeah.
He's
All right,
not
so
particularly memorable
Yeah.
either. You know.
I just remember, like I said, I only remember the presence. Like, there's no dialogue for whatever reason. Like, and like I said, even the fight with Connery, like Connery, like hits him in like a couple times, but he's so big it doesn't matter. It turns into a wrestling match on the stairs, and he falls off and is eaten by piranha. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always worth mentioning the demise. The poor man did meet a gruesome death.
yeah,
You know.
His death's fine, getting eaten by piranhas. That's pretty epic as far as things go, I would
That's
say.
the one thing he accomplished was dying.
I was gonna say.
So we're in agreement that Hans is 6. Would you mind putting a number next to it, Ray, so we can keep it
my
straight?
bad. Yeah, my bad.
Thank you. All right, so I think that was pretty easy. So let's move on to 5, which personally I think is also pretty obvious to me. But I'll let you guys get some opinions in there before I state mine. Ray, what you got? We haven't heard from you much. What you got?
I don't know. Fiona kind of goes down with a lame shot to the back, but Professor Dent,
I was gonna
Yeah.
go Professor.
I don't know. He died pretty lamely too.
Professor Dent is another guy that doesn't accomplish. He does accomplish a few things. Don't get me wrong. He's not completely inept, but he's almost, I don't know. Inept kind of seems the word to use. Actually,
He's almost borderline not a henchman. I almost want to say
yeah.
he's more of a lab tech.
His main accomplishment, I mean, he did off the agent
That
and
Bond
his
was sent to investigate.
secretary, correct?
Yeah,
He did accomplish that. And there's it seems to me, and it's been a while, that there's opportunity to make him more interesting than he actually ended up being. I agree with.
and he's actually sent to kill Bond. He just fails twice. Indeed, twice actually.
It almost feels like this was like his audition tape, and it didn't work out because he died.
I just think he was out of his depths. Like he was asked to kill somebody. He did, and then Bond shows up, and he's like, "Oh crap!"
He did die in an iconic scene. It's not iconic because of him. It's because of how cool Sean Connery is.
Yes.
Sitting and waiting for him, just to show up ultimately.
Yeah, with the cigarette, with the solitaire, everything.
Like,
His
So-
gun sitting on the table, not even,
yeah,
yeah.
he's all nonchalant about it. You know
Mhm.
what's gonna happen and all. Like,
So if I had to choose between, dying by getting eaten by piranhas or having cool motherfucking Sean Connery shoot me dead, I'll
yeah,
go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going with Professor Dent at number 5.
Okay.
All right, I think it's a
Yeah.
quality pick, guys.
yeah. That was my 5 and 6. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
where I was at.
Now it may start to get interesting.
Yes, I think there's a little bit more difficult of choices here. So let's go with 4 here, gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie. My initial thought is Volpe at 4. I'm not saying I can't be convinced otherwise, but that's my initial thought.
Yeah, because I got the other 3 in the top 3.
All right, why do you go with Volpe then?
I just think the other 3 are, well, first off, very memorable. I also think, and not just because they're hot, because they actually do, they're doing stuff and they're like unique. But I also think they're very, even in different ways, menacing and effective. Volpe kind of gets punked by the man she hired to do the job, and Largo has to come in and clean up the mess. Because essentially, she has to use Largo or Blofeld as threats to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost she uses like their authority and everything as her power,
Yeah.
rather than having some type of like power or like you said like menacing vibe about her in general.
Now, don't get me wrong; she does do some things. She has Paula kidnapped and tortured. But
once
she,
again, like she's not the one personally kidnapping and personally torturing. Like
yeah. And she does kind of get the drop on Connery, by sleeping with him, but and then pulls a gun, has a gun. But then she has her little henchman come in and grab him.
yeah,
But yeah, I just don't think she does a decent job in the movie, and I liked her character. I just don't think she holds up to these other 3.
Yeah,
Definitely
that's
not.
pretty much how I would frame it as well. I think if she wasn't a beautiful woman, then she wouldn't even sniff the
Yeah,
top
she wouldn't
3.
even have a
I
play
think
in the
because
game.
she's a beautiful woman, we're kind of considering it, but even then.
like I said, you get to sleep with Bon Close. You get to use the honey pot. Like that's
Right.
all. Like
Yeah.
that's
And of course, as always, and I think Alex has a better memory of it than me, maybe Tom too. How did she meet her demise?
She gets shot in the back when they're dancing on the dance floor.
yeah, which is just hilarious.
Bonded her.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're chasing him in there and they're playing the drums and everything, the party and whatnot. Yeah, he just grabs her and like the henchman and all is gonna try to shoot Bond and everything through the curtains when the drums are really going and bah, and then like he has that little quip when he sets her down.
Yeah, he says she's dead on her feet.
Yeah, so it's even like, oh, she's just set next
It's
to a
very
couple.
cold.
Yeah, and like and
Mhm.
this couple is just perfectly fine with like, oh, you're just setting your drunk friend here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's fine. Like, yep,
Yeah.
so long. Like,
So yeah, I agree. She was a good character,
Mhm.
but as far as if we're saying henchmen or whatever,
Hinge people.
yeah, she just isn't gonna be up there with these other 3. I agree.
well, that was still even pretty early on in the movie that she died and everything. At least some of these others, like I said, like even like Old Boy at 6, that was at the very end of the movie that he lasted. Like
Mhm, that's
she only
true.
lasted maybe like what, almost a little halfway through, and then she was out. Like,
Yeah, I'd say between like the halfway point and like the 2/3
so I'd
point,
say,
somewhere in
yeah.
there.
So if you can write out a main henchman like that just from the storyline, I think that speaks volumes too. Like to where it's like, oh, you're just not pertinent to the rest of the story at this point. Like, and really, even your death was made a joke. So
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
All right, so now we move into the top 3, which I definitely think there could be some big disagreements on. But we're down to Winton Kid, Odd Job, and Red Grant. Anybody have any strong feelings at this point of who should be 3?
I'm torn with,
Honestly, I'm probably gonna say Odd Job.
Really?
Yeah.
that's where I'm kind of going. I gotta agree with Tom with that one.
Who, other than the chick in the woods, can anybody else remember who else he killed?
He killed the girl that's gold.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so he got her.
And he killed the statue.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
But that's okay. Like his boss owned the art.
Totally
Right.
destroyed that cue ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A golf ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
golf ball. That's right. Now, I would personally, and I don't have strong feelings on how these end up getting ranked right now. Maybe as the discussion carries on, I would put Red Grant there, and Red Grant's cool.
Wait, hold on. You mean Barry is going to put the guy from Russia lower than the rest of us? Hold the phone.
All right. I'll bite here. So like, all right.
He's-
So odd job against Grant. Why?
Grant, while he's imposing, he's lacking in the sort of Bond villain henchman character sort of thing. He's not as just memorable as Odd Job. He's not as quirky
I'll give you
as
odd job.
Winton Kid.
Yeah.
That said, again, I don't have super strong feelings about it. I just don't think that he's as memorable as the others.
I want, as far as memorable goes, I want to agree with you, but I want to bring up something else we haven't talked about yet. Red Grant carried out a very intricate plan to get to the end of the movie with Bond. And he kept Bond alive for most of that movie.
That's true.
He was
Story
going
of-
around
yeah.
killing people, keeping Bond alive so that the plan would continue, and went through a lot of work, a lot of effort to make sure his plan succeeded all the way to the end. I think I guess I would say he's maybe the most intelligent of the guys we're talking about.
I don't know about intelligent, but he's definitely professional. Like if we're like, he definitely, like I said, he was given a task and everything. Like the movie even opens with like, "Hey, in this scenario, can you kill Bond?" And we
He's
see
almost
him
robotic.
kill it. Like it's what I want a killer to be. Like
Right.
like very. I want sociopathy, psychopathy. Like get the job done, and don't be.
Oh, I
stupid.
want a little more charisma.
Like-
He's like
I don't
one
know.
of them-
I think he's pretty charismatic in the train car. Their conversation is
Yeah.
is pretty.
the banter when he calls him old man.
Yeah.
it's there. Like it's
Yeah,
a
but
it's a young agent talking to an older one,
Drinks
and,
red wine with this fish.
and I just won't stand for that. Like, just total
No, I
flip-flop.
understand, and I liked Red Grant character. I just the appeal of just the character in and of himself to me isn't quite as there as with the remaining.
Okay, so let me ask this: we haven't even talked about Winton Kid.
Just I don't know. I like those guys.
I
Those
mean,
are-
I think we all like all three of these guys.
yeah, but those two, like, they were joking around with each other, and they were like this. They were having fun at work together, and like you said,
Yeah.
they were clearly a couple.
Yes, but
They
I
were
was
the
I will
couple
say
at
this:
work killing,
I feel
having
like
fun.
they were the least effective of the three because they made their job harder by trying to make it interesting.
Well, the only time that they didn't actually succeed was with Bond.
Yeah.
Here's why I like Winton Kid, and I think everyone here does like Winton Kid. And you said something, and I fundamentally disagree with it, not because I'm trying to be a jerk. They never joked with each other. They were incapable of it.
No,
They
no.
were, like,
when the coffin
just-
was going down the like the little canal, and they take pictures and say that she always wanted to. Like, they were joking and having fun with it.
That's
I don't
because they're
know that they ever had any
psychopaths.
fun.
They were totally having fun.
Oh, I read them differently. I'm not saying that they couldn't make a
I-
little snide remark, but
but
I took them as just
but it's-
incapable of anything.
It's dark humor. They were
Yeah, but I don't
having-
think they viewed it that way.
I think they were
to
sociopaths.
that-
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, but to them that was real humor and all that. It's a couple joking around.
But let me ask you guys this.
I may be reading
Yeah.
it wrong. You may be absolutely right.
No, I seen a couple having fun at work. Like,
Well, let me ask you guys this. Out of the three we got left, who could hold down their own movie?
That's what I was going to ask, and that's a great question.
Oh, I
Winton
would-
Kid.
Winton Kid.
I'd go see that movie.
Well,
Well,
Red,
as long as they didn't get too
Red
far
Grant
into
could
the relationship.
easily pull
Well,
off
I
his own
mean-
movie because he'd just be a secret agent.
I don't
I mean,
know.
he,
I-
he's
probably, yeah.
he's the equal to Bond on the other
I
side.
feel like if you put up the right scenario and everything, I could do a silent odd job film. Like
I mean, that's the problem with Odd Job. Odd Job is the
I would
the
watch
most
that.
unique and interesting character here.
Yeah.
He just doesn't talk.
but he emotes.
Yeah.
So that he says everything with his eyes, and I feel like if you just put him in the scenarios and all that, I think it would be hilarious.
Let me ask you this: if I told you that all of these people on the list were coming to kill you, who would you be most scared of?
Winton Kid.
Not a chance.
Why?
Not a chance. Because half their plans are stupid and easy to avoid.
Yeah, but the way they
Nah,
killed
Odd
people
Job
was
is going to
crazy.
fuck you up.
I
I'd be
don't-
worried about Fiona.
I don't think
All
they're
you got to
easy
do is duck from
I
Odd
do, I
Job.
do not think they're easy to avoid.
What do you mean, duck?
Because he's throwing that fucking hat at me.
And then he'll grab you and crush your face with his hand.
No, because he gotta catch me first. He ain't gonna catch
Honestly,
me.
I'm gonna say it's either gonna be Winter Kid or Grant because I feel like Grant has the ability to sniper you.
Well, Grant is also there.
Yeah, Grant's an assassin and all that.
I
Like,
gotta make sure before we carry on. And it could be all of these things. Are we ranking these people on what we perceive as their effectiveness to be a henchman, or is it on the joy, pleasure we took from watching these characters on film?
I think it's all of the above.
Because
Yeah.
largely then I'm basing mine on enjoyment of the characters, and Ray's question of who could carry a movie holds a lot of water in my opinion. And you could see a spin-off movie being made of Mr. Winton, Mr. Kidd.
I would love that.
And
it would be funny.
And-
Even if it
Yeah.
was like a 15-minute like short at the end of it, like I'd watch it. Like I think it's hilarious.
Well, I think you're right, but at the same time, we're talking about henchmen, not the villains.
Yeah, but
I think if they could have carried a movie, they would have.
They could have. Like, if there was no Blofeld in the movie, that's who I would have thought the villains were the whole time. But they had Blofeld, so you knew they were henchmen. But you take Blofeld out of the equation, those were the fucking main villains. And it sucked the way they went out because it's such a lame fucking death for them.
right.
Well, I don't think it is. They went out the way they were taking people out, stupidly.
Well, but no, I'll say they went, and this is where they were clever, but they weren't smart, and there's a difference. And Bond exposes that when they're talking about the wine, because they see themselves as very above other people and smarter than, and always outwitting people and all that. Like that's why even though like, oh, we'll show up and we'll grab a scorpion, we'll just poison them and we'll blow up the plane. Like it's. They really do think highly of themselves.
They do,
There's
yes.
a lot of arrogance to the point where, like, even when they're talking and presenting themselves, like, Bond tricks them and all that. Like, just talking simply about the wine because he smells the female cologne that he wore earlier and all. Like, it's like, here's somebody who is smart and you're just clever and you got exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's where I like the subtleties of that back and forth is what exposed them. How they died was, it could have been better. But
I liked how they died. It was dumb,
yeah, but
I liked it.
I liked how they were exposed. That part, that really got me because it was like I said, it's I am smarter than you. Like you just got me because of the circumstances earlier. Like,
Right.
and
I can get kind of behind that. But then at the same point, if they would have got killed by, a side character something, I would have been.
oh
way
yeah,
more
no,
pissed
they
the
they
fuck
didn't
off.
deserve a side character death at all. Like they
Yeah.
definitely deserve to be killed by Bond.
Yeah.
But I think that also speaks to where like a side character wouldn't be smart enough to like expose them like Bond did.
Right.
Like I said, the fact that Bond like first smelled the perfume and then like, oh, I'm gonna ask some questions about the wine to see who you are and what you know, just in case like maybe you do wear the same brand of some sorts and all that. So I mean, like there was a whole subtlety to the conversation there that I feel like unless you really like were paying attention to that part, you wouldn't understand the dynamic. Where you didn't get that with the other henchmen.
Yeah.
Like because that wasn't their forte. Like I said, it was more like I said, Grant had to keep Bond alive because that was his mission for so long, so part of the movie, and even they tried to do.
But that
his
was a
mission,
great.
like-
But that was a good part about Grant though, because it's just like methodical, patience.
well, and,
Yes.
and also,
Patience.
yeah,
Mhm.
patience,
And then bam,
and really
then
self-restraint.
he's done for it.
Like I said, I'll give it patience and self-restraint. Like
Which makes him a real life magnificent henchman,
That's true.
but perhaps not the most entertaining movie henchman.
Right.
I will say this: Grant does something in his movie that neither one of these other two people could pull off. He fakes being an MI6 agent.
Yeah.
Winton Kid could nowhere pull that off,
No.
and Oddjob can't speak, so obviously he couldn't pull it off.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not called upon to do that, though.
Right.
But I mean, you make a fair point. I mean, he's very highly trained, very effective. A specimen of a human being.
Mm-hmm,
So I mean, I can't argue against him being super highly ranked, so I won't.
well, yeah, like I said, we're just arguing 1, 2, and 3 here, really, and
Right.
right now we're
Yeah.
arguing 3. Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
the thing. Like
So who do? I mean, are we ready to settle on a number 3?
I mean, I still say Odd Job.
I think Oddjob is the most iconic villain in all of Bond.
He is, but I mean,
Is he more iconic than Jaws?
I think so.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah,
Okay.
just because I think everybody remembers the hat. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like
Honestly, who throws a hat?
exactly. Like
Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat.
seriously, like. But yeah, I guess it's super iconic. But if we're talking about like overall effectiveness, like I don't know. Like I said, the other three and all that did more throughout the movies and all. Like
You think so?
You're willing to put
Yeah.
him at 3, Ray? Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
I'll put Odd Job at 3.
And you're willing to put him at 3 as well?
yeah, I've been arguing and talking myself into 3 this whole time.
And you rightly believe he's so iconic that he should probably be higher than 3?
Yep.
Okay. I prefer Red Grant at 3 just because I find him less interesting, but I can accept Odd Job at 3 with the other 2 fellas.
Democracy.
I'll say, I guess I'm
I mean, every
outvoted.
other time it's me getting screwed, so this time.
How's it feel, Holtz? Like, it's like,
All right.
Yeah. I think it's a mistake, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
not your list.
That's right. Fuck your list.
Just want to remind everybody.
Oh, shit.
All right, so now we're down to fan favorites, Winton Kid and Red Grant. Who's number 1? I know who Alex is going to say. He's number 1.
I'm going with Winton Kid.
At 2?
Oh no, it's number 1.
Oh, okay.
Like he asked 1 and all that. But
I figure we may as well cut to
yeah, I was gonna say.
And that's essentially what we're deciding either
yeah,
way.
I was gonna say that's all with Winton Kid. If we're talking about like, yeah, they killed more people from start to finish and all.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, I guess like people that mattered. Like yeah, he's keeping Bond alive and all that, but I don't know. I feel like the Mafia and Bond, they could have kept him alive through there. He had enough gypsies on his side. He was all right.
Well, he also killed a bunch of gypsies.
Yeah, that's true. But
So-
once
so,
again,
poke.
yeah.
Hole.
It's all right. Nobody cares if they
It's
die.
easy to kill Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nobody's looking for
like, yeah, like, show me a birth certificate. Like, it's like, but yeah, I'm gonna go Winton Kid and everything number 1 and Grant too. And even as far as like I said, I definitely see them as more memorable.
Yeah, I'm going Winton Kid number 1 simply because you all know me. I'm looking for the joy in it, and they're fun.
We all know Barry. He's trying to put from Russia down every chance he gets.
Yeah, I despise it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Winton Kid at 1 for me as well.
I guess it doesn't matter what the fuck I think.
No, but let's hear it at least.
Yeah,
let's
just
hear it
throw
all.
out an
like,
argument
I would
here.
say
Let's hear
because,
it, Alex.
Yeah, like
Well,
And
I mean,
I'm sure it'll be a good argument.
Yeah.
I mean, in all reality, the point of these people is to kill people. And Tom just said Grant was the most deadly person on this list. That was Tom's words, not my words.
He is specifically trained by the Russian government and everything. Special agent, like you said, he's so good he gets to lay on the damn grass while everybody else is training and all
You know what
that.
else he is?
I think you're making my point.
Boring.
Yeah, I know what I said, but then in memorable, it's like he's Russian. He's like, oh, it's
Well,
so dry
he's-
to watch. And,
yes,
like
Winton Kid are more funny because they tell jokes.
Well,
yeah,
they're not really telling jokes.
they're telling jokes.
Well, they're jokes for us. They may not be jokes to each other, but they're clearly
Yeah,
jokes
that's
for
the
the
thing.
audience.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'll accept.
But
They're meant
yeah,
to be humorous.
yes, Red
But they're not
Grant.
jokesters.
Red Grant is not telling
See, I
jokes.
don't know. I
He's too
really
busy
think-
killing people.
I really think they are joking and all that. You're telling me you've never been in a shitty situation that went sideways or something bad happened, and you just make a joke about it in the moment.
I
Yeah,
think Alex,
I have.
and I'm not.
See,
I'm not
Like,
an expert.
I do
on
it all the
these-
time.
but
Like,
to me, they are sociopaths. Is that what you said?
oh, it's definitely.
I don't even know that they're capable of humor, as we would see it. Now we find it funny,
I think
like
it's a-
even the way they talk to each other, Mr. Wint, Mr. Kid. To them, they're not being funny, but to us, that's hilarious.
Yeah. That's their,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
that
their
is
customs and
that is
courtesies.
them. They are being that way. That's
Yeah.
like you said. That is their natural
Yeah, they're
state.
fucking weirdos.
But even like the one little like clearly a joke that like didn't land with his buddy was like, oh, she's good looking for a woman, and then he even kind of like tries to chuckle, but nothing out of old boy.
Mhm.
Like That's one joke that didn't land for him. Like,
Right.
so they are joking with
One of
each
these
other.
days, I'm going to give
Like,
Diamonds another watch.
well, if you
And,
do
know-
figure
you know
out
who
what the hell
I'm
went
they
to
going
are,
to explore
like,
the comedic powers of Mr. Went and Mr. Kid.
You know who Wint and Kid kind of I kind of associate with?
Pinky in the
Bert and
brain.
Ernie?
No, besides that, they kind of gave me the the Devil's Rejects vibe. Like they're kind of jokey,
I can
but
say
they're gonna
that.
fucking slice
Yeah.
you up at the end of the
Tutti
day.
fucking
Is that like a
fruity.
Rob Zombie
Like,
movie?
Huh?
It's like a
yeah.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the second
movie.
one in the
Alright.
House of a Thousand Corpses
Mm-hmm.
trilogy.
It's a good
Yeah.
one.
That's what they kind of remind me of.
I like it better than House of a Thousand Corpses, but
Oh yeah, Devil's Rejects is way better.
yeah.
So then it sounds like we're all in agreement.
Yeah, I'll say it's. Well, yeah. It's like,
Yep, agreements.
All right.
It sounds like we're all in agreement. Solitaire is the most beautiful woman in the world.
I fucking wish Justin was
at
here.
least the 19-year-old solitaire
We
is
could have
buried.
texted
Like,
Justin for some, like, where do you want to?
Yeah, we could have.
bring
Yes.
him up on Zoom or something like that really quick. Like, hey, like,
Don't puke on screen, but
settle an argument right now. Like, get your head out the toilet.
So we ended up with Red Grant at 2,
Yep.
and we Winton Kid the combo at 1.
Yeah,
All right,
because more is better.
because Roger Moore is.
oh man,
Just
oh man, Barry's gonna get us canceled. All right, so that makes their list: Hans at 6, Dent
Understand.
at 5, Fiona at 4. Odd Job at 3, even though we can't do numbers here. Grant at 2, and Winton Kid at 1.
There's numbers there,
Yeah, just in the wrong order.
but that's okay. You know how to count.
Yeah, but when you're reading something, and then it's out of order. It's hard to read. So yes, that is our order for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed our little B-side here. I know we did, and tune in for another B-side in the future. Thanks.